I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's
Happy
very
New
quiet
Year.
in my ears
It is quiet
right
in
now.
my ears.
All right, there we go. It's fine. Hey, it's there we go. Hello. Ringing in the new year with a ringing in our ears.
Baby,
We can totally hear
baby. Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
It's going to be a bumpy ride
And
this year.
happy anniversary.
I know.
We'll talk
We're
about
at the
that.
beginning of our 12th year.
Today, the actual
It's
day,
actual day.
marks the 12th year. We're starting our 12th year of Out Chicago on WCPT.
It's crazy.
OMG, Scott.
OMG.
Oh,
OMG. It's
I was
OMG.
so much younger then.
We all were.
Yeah, you were too.
We all were.
Yeah, you were a baby. Now you're old.
I am old.
You're
It's true.
catching up with me.
I am catching up with you. Yes, yes. But to celebrate, we've got a fabulous show today. It is award season. Award season officially begins tonight.
I love it. Gives you something to do in the winter.
I know.
to watch,
I
the shows.
The Golden Globes are coming up, and next week is the Critics' Choice Awards, and Chicago's very own Nunn on the Run, Jerry Nunn, is going to be joining us on the phone the second hour to talk about the best films of 2024.
We always love when Jerry joins us.
Yes.
He's got a lot of dish to serve up.
He sure does. He sure does. And the one and only rock goddess, Kathy Richardson, is going to be in studio to play some tunes, chat about our upcoming show at City Winery. It's happening on the 17th.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Fun. Music.
Fun.
Music.
Let's be positive.
Yeah, we're going to try to be positive.
Best we can.
The best we can. So, and hey, what are you looking forward to in 2025? We'd love to hear from you. So give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook where we're coming at you live. Head over to Out Chicago Radio, and while you're there, give us a click and a like and a share and all that good stuff. But if that doesn't float your boat, you can always tune in to WCPT. And while you're at it, follow WCPT and our sister network, Heartland Signal, on all of these socials. Happy New Year. How was your New Year?
Well, actually, I had a really fun New Year's Eve.
You looked fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, because you went to a Venetian party.
Yes, my friends Peter and his husband Mauricio, who actually live right across the street from me.
There we go.
They were in Venice several weeks ago, and they were taken by the whole Venice thing, and they bought 100 masks and brought them back and said, let's do a Venetian-themed party, New Year's party. And it worked out great for me because Kathy has been out of town for, who's counting, but seven days today, 8. It'll be 8 nights. But who's counting the 8
Not
nights?
you, certainly not you.
She's been gone helping her mom. Her mom had a heart procedure, and thankfully everything's going great.
Which is fabulous. Sending good vibes to Kathy's
yes,
mom.
Her mom.
Yep.
And Kathy, I think, is probably listening right now in Tennessee. So she's coming home in a couple of days, but I was by myself. First time in 30 years that Kathy and I have not been together on New Year's Eve.
Wowza.
And I was a little, but at least I had a nice, fun,
activity.
easy, gay place to go right across the street.
That was right across the street. If I was going to go out on New Year's Eve, that is the only way I would ever do it, to go across the street.
I mean, that's how I feel, because we usually stay home and have friends. So that was the next best thing. And he did this thing, and I didn't know what to do, but I had this jacket that Scott's referring to that one of my dear friends, she passed away 2 years ago from cancer. She was a college friend, and her husband, they have 2 sons, told her girlfriends, come over. She had a closet the size of this studio. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
There was like, lounge chair inside.
Wow.
And just take whatever you guys want. So I got that jacket. I've had it going on 2 years, and I've never worn it. But I thought, this kind of feels...
It felt
festive.
very festive and fancy.
And I didn't realize he'd brought masks back. I ordered a mask. I was just gonna wear a mask, and I texted him the day before, said, is there anything I can bring? He goes, well, do you have your costume? I go, costume?
Oh, no.
And like this. And he sends me this picture of this Victorian, like a hoop skirt dress from Amazon. I go, no.
No, I don't.
No, I don't have that.
I do not have that.
Not having that. But I put together an outfit that I felt good in. Most people, it's the guys, of course, the gay men that were there. I mean, they had these jackets.
We love an outfit.
They got on Amazon and ordered all these, these shirts and ruffled. One woman was there in a hoop skirt.
Okay.
But
that is what you call commitment.
That was the commitment. I felt somewhat, but I had a ball. I got home at 1. I missed my dog. My God, she was right across the street. I'd been with her for days. But I ran into some friends of the show there and some people we've had on Out Chicago.
Love it.
Honey West was at the party.
Wonderful.
It's a good party if Honey West is there.
Always love to see her.
Dr. Irvin, who we had on, he does gender reassignment surgery. He was there with his husband, Iad. Met my next door neighbors, Peter's next door neighbors who are new residents on the street. They were invited, and I just had Lynn Jordan, the infamous Lynn Jordan. She's a great singer. She was there, hung out with her. I met Devin, who was at the party. Lauren, who used to be on with Jerry Riles. Oh, wow. I have a picture I'll show you at the break.
Well, there we go.
We're talking, I just happened to talk to her. We're talking about all these subjects about life. And then one thing led to another. We're talking about following your dreams. She said, I was in broadcast. I was on Comcast. And I was on radio. I go, what radio were you on? WCPT.
What? That's where I am.
And then she did a show on Sunday nights. It turns out, we're just casually talking, and she sat in the very seat we sat in.
Hilarious.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens.
I love that. I love that the world has 200 people in it, so be nice to everybody.
That's exactly true. So I had a lovely New Year's Eve, and I went out to my friend Janet, who lives nearby here last night. She invited me to dinner, and she cooked a lovely, delicious coconut chicken in a coconut cream sweet potato. It had an Asian, had fish sauce, and a lot of ginger and garlic. It was fantastic.
Sign me up.
So I had a dinner out, and I've been a homebody, and I'll continue to be until Kathy gets home.
Very unlike you.
Because it's cold. B, there hasn't been much to do. C, I've got a sweet pup that is doing well, and I want to just soak up every minute with her.
Wonderful.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I think that's a good story.
Tell me about your the highlights of your New Year's.
We had the Memphis invasion.
Yes,
happened,
as you do.
As we do, and we decided to embrace Tuesday as Taco Tuesday.
You said did you get goat? Weren't you going to try
No, I didn't.
Goat?
I was trying to find goat, but I did not find goat. But I did make the best birria on the planet. It was my first time making it.
With the beef?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's so good.
Of course you did well.
It was so good. We made this big feast of we made beef birria, and I did these stuffed poblanos with black beans and kale and vegan cheese, because we had a vegan there, like vegan cheese, vegan sour cream. It tasted really good.
Oh, good. Okay.
Really
some
good.
Of that vegan cheese, I'd rather just.
Well, yeah. It's getting better, though. Vegan cheese is really getting better. If you're looking to go plant-based, and you need your cheese.
I did plant-based
I did plant-based for a while.
I remember you did that for a hot second.
And then I'm like, I really miss cheese.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me. But yeah, we did roasted cauliflower, Chipotle roasted cauliflower tacos. And it was just really wonderful. We had sparklers at midnight, because that's what we do. We light things on fire. Had a great time while they were here. They went to go to the Art Institute. One of our friends' adult kids was there with his girlfriend, so they went into the Art Institute. Jerry and I and our friend, we just decided we're going to go to lunch. So we just hung out and had lunch downtown and got some gelato.
Don't you feel like a tourist in your own city sometimes?
I love it. Oh, yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. We went to, we ended up going to Little Goat.
Oh, by us?
Oh, very nice. On Saturday or some Friday.
Was it crowded? Probably.
No, it wasn't. Surprisingly, it wasn't too bad. But my favorite day is New Year's Day.
Yes.
When the neighbors come over and we do the traditional, I'm married to a Southerner, so we've got to have black-eyed peas, greens, and cornbread.
Of course.
On New Year's Day. And the neighbors came over and we played board games from about 1:30 in the afternoon until 1 o'clock in the morning.
What was your favorite board game you were playing?
Well, we did the biggest thing. We only got to 2 because we played this dominoes game that is 13 rounds, and we wanted to get through all 13. It's a lot. So that's what. So we did. Sure. Yeah. So we did that. But I got a new game for my birthday called Wavelength.
Okay.
If you are with a group of people, I think you need at least 4. I think it works better with 6. But it is the New York Times has rated it as one of the best new games. It's fabulous. It's so basically it's a guessing game where you get categories. It's like good, evil, and there's a dial that you can go, kind of like a meter, you know, like how good or how evil is it?
Like a lie detector. Almost.
Yeah, and you like the person like you have a clue. Well, it's good versus evil or whatever, and then you have like. There's a thing that only one person can see, and it shows where the points are hidden along the spectrum. So you have to try to give a clue that will have your team guess, say, what is like 60% evil. Or what is 60%, you know, brings you joy, you know, something like that. And you can only give them one clue, and then they debate. It's really fun.
That sounds fun.
It was so much fun.
You know, you mentioned that other game. Kathy went and bought it right away.
Yeah.
But we need more than 2 people to play. So we haven't had anybody at our house in weeks. So.
Well, that's why I said for Thanksgiving. That's what.
Well, you know, good luck with. Yeah, I tried.
I know you did.
We tried.
I know. Some people just aren't game people.
I know. I like games. We used to play when we were little kids.
Yeah, I love
Candyland.
You know me. I love games. I love playing games.
I know. I like them once I'm into them.
Yeah. So we just like played games
fun.
and everything. And then during the New Year's, over the New Year's, I became a lesbian. It's been amazing. I watched bowl games.
Ooh, so did I.
I went bowling. I fixed a toilet, and I carried so much firewood. So I
did 2 of the 5 that you did. I carried firewood and watched bowl games.
Yeah. We had to watch the Gator Bowl because Ole Miss was playing. And
I was rooting for Ole Miss.
They did a real good job. They killed.
I love that you were
just
watching
pummeled
it.
Duke, right? It was Duke. They played.
It was Duke.
It was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Duke.
Yeah,
because they did not play as well as they should.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
For that privileged place that it is, yeah.
Yeah, no, they didn't do anything. And then we ended up watching the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
And I watched that too. And all these crazy things they were eating.
How many bowl games?
There's so many now.
And it just seems kind of like.
There used to be like 4.
I know.
When we were kids. Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl. That was about it. Cotton Bowl. I think it was about a Fiesta Bowl. It was like 5 bowls when we were kids.
Yeah. And
now
then
there's 25 at least.
I know. So it kind of doesn't that kind of take it away?
But you know what? It's really given me something to do when Kathy's been gone because there's not a lot on television as far as, you know, my Jimmy Kimmels and all that late night stuff I like to watch. So I've just been, whatever the game is, I play guitar in one room and I have the game on in another and I peek and see, is it a close game? Should I turn the volume up or should I continue to amuse myself playing guitar and singing?
But wouldn't they play games anyway, even if it wasn't just a bowl game?
No, the seasons, these are just
These are
playoffs and extras, yes. Not everybody plays bowl games. For a lot of colleges, the season has been over for weeks.
Well, but now it seems like everybody's playing a bowl game because they've got like the Duke's Look, I love Duke's mayonnaise. You know, I've got a deep love.
I know you do.
And these poor people had to eat like Duke's mayonnaise and banana sandwiches and stuff. They were eating a lot of weird Duke stuff. They were eating some
weird stuff.
I know.
There was a guy there was a Cheetos bowl a couple days ago. A guy was broadcasting from a vat of Cheetos.
Well,
some executive comes up with all these promotional ideas.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, everybody, like, let's pump the brakes on these bowl games. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't seem like.
But like I said, when there's not much going on, like there hasn't,
read a book.
Oh, God, no.
Scott, I hate to bring it to you. These bowl games have been here forever, but they weren't always the Cheetos Bowl and the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. Let's all say a word together, guys. Capitalism.
Oh, there we go.
And they've been buying the names to all these bowls, and that's why you even see more about them. And they're doing things like giant vats of Cheetos or mayo and banana sandwiches or killing Pop-Tart mascots on TV.
That is the weird, the Pop-Tart Bowl. I discovered that, too. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not as much of a lesbian as I thought I was.
The first time I ever heard, like, I think a FedEx Bowl or something I'm like, how dare they? But as someone who sold for 24 years, I mean, that's all we did was come up with ideas on how we could capitalize on sponsorships.
Yep. No, I get it.
It's just corporate America still wants more. So that's what you do.
I guess so. But it just seems.
But it made it it was kind of funny. I mean, to have some of those, watching those guys eat that weird stuff. Mayonnaise. And,
So now I've got a question. I am taking away my lesbian card because I'm very confused.
Okay.
So there've always been the same number of bowls?
No,
is that what you're
more.
saying? There's more now.
There's more now.
It seems like,
There's more now.
Because it seems like it's...
Like the Dukes.
Here's the thing. It reminds me of like when I was a teacher and they were going, we were giving out awards to people and I wanted to give some students multiple awards and they're like, well, no, they're already getting an award. I'm like, well, but they're the best at this thing that they're getting. They should get this award as well. And like, you have to spread it out. So it's like everybody gets a prize. So it seems like every college team now gets to be in a bowl, even if they have like a 6-6 record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a little
just
of
seems
that.
like
There's a little of that. But there's a lot of teams that aren't in bowls. But
But there are a lot of bowl games in
There's a lot of bowl games. And again, I'm grateful because that's all I had to do for last week
You know
is
what you
watch
need to
those
do?
games. What? Read a book.
Well, read a book.
I played guitar a ton.
Of course you do.
I
'cause that's
cooked, I cleaned, I had a bowl
guitar
game on and played guitar.
in the back, had it going on.
Maybe had a gummy here and there.
As you
just,
should.
Just enjoying my vacation or whatever this is, holiday time.
Yesterday was my first day off with nobody, nothing.
Yeah, I'm getting
everybody
kind of
left.
used to it.
It was wonderful. After I walked
I'm
the dog
sure
in the
after having a
afternoon,
house full of
I
people.
changed into long underwear and this gigantic hoodie that I call my Eton dress.
I
And I
saw
just sat
that.
in front of a fire, and I finally read my holiday issue of Bon Appetit, and we just watched. Here, I know Golden Globes are tonight.
Yes.
We watched Emilia Perez
Oh, you
on
did?
Netflix. Holy!
Oh, it's available on Netflix?
It's a Netflix movie. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Holy
I wanna see
smokes! It.
Is it? You liked it?
We were like, "What is happening?"
I've seen trailers and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. So it is the story of a drug kingpin
Who decides
who
to
transitions and hires Zoe Saldana as a lawyer to help make it happen and to help hide him because he's a drug.
And what does Selena Gomez do? She's in it too.
She's his wife.
Oh, she's his wife.
Yeah. And I finally got Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've made fun of her acting.
Well, I don't make fun of her acting. I just don't understand her. There's a lot. I know she's gonna. By all accounts.
Yeah.
People love her.
Yes.
She's beloved in the,
I think she must
industry.
be like I've seen her interviewed and she seems like a really nice person.
She seems like a really great person, but there's something about her that she's kind of dead in her eyes. There's I'm always like, what's going on, Selena Gomez? Especially with Only Murders in the Building, which I adore. But people, she's just kind of always a little kind of deadpan over there. She was not deadpan.
Yeah, she kind of does like that a lot.
She does this sort of little thing where she just kind of puts her lips.
Yeah,
She doesn't really open up her mouth.
I know,
when she
kinda
talks.
like that.
She's great in the movie. The whole film, we loved it. I'm curious to see what Jerry Nunn has to say about it.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's odd because it's a musical,
I heard it's a musical, yeah.
but it doesn't feel like a traditional musical. There are times when everything is just there's one or two moments where the songs are very big, but mostly the songs highlight the idea. Here's your theater history. Here I'm going to be my gay again. Here's what happens with musical. In a musical, a character is supposed to be feeling such an intense emotion that they have no other choice but to sing.
Okay.
That is how you approach it as an actor, and usually it's a very big moment. A lot of the moments were very small and interior, and they kind of let you know what's going on inside their head in a very personal way. It's really lovely.
So when it came out in song, it was kind of a surprise the way they were feeling.
Yeah, and you're and the whole thing is in Spanish.
Oh.
It's discombobulating because it's a French film that takes place in Mexico City. So you have it's all these French filmmakers.
So it's subtitled.
It's subtitled. It's some of the most interesting storytelling that I think I've seen in a very long time.
I love that recommendation.
And
if I can figure out how to use the Netflix, Kathy always runs the apps on her.
Oh, no.
I'll figure it out.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can.
When you're forced to do things, you do them.
It's true.
It's
true.
You let somebody else waters the plants every week, then they just water the plants. When they're gone, you figure out how to water the plants.
You got to water the plants.
Yeah.
Maybe check out a podcast or something while you're, watering the plants and everything. But speaking of podcasts, did you know that our little show, Out Chicago, which is beginning its 12th year right now, has its very own podcast?
Yes.
Actually, we've got two Out Chicago full episodes and Out Chicago featured interviews where we just take away some of the little gems and nuggets and we just put those away. Just search for Out Chicago wherever you get your podcasts or get the podcast links on our show page by visiting heartlandsignal.com/out-Chicago. Now, on that page, you're going to find amazing interviews that we've done recently with,
we've been very
Randy
fortunate.
Rainbow, Judy Gold, Chicago alderperson Lamont Robinson, Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child, who's now in Death Becomes Her, and there's so much more. So if you want to check out some fun interviews or just listen to the whole show, you can go to heartlandsignal.com/out-Chicago.
Yes, indeed.
Or just search Out Chicago wherever you get your podcasts. We would love that.
Do it.
We would love that. But hey, we should probably take a
Let's
break
do that, too.
right now. And when we come back, man, President Jimmy Carter passed away.
I know.
And passed away, and President Biden has been awarding some medals of freedom, and I thought that was really great. So we're going to dip our toe into that for show 2025. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Creating Iris. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, rolling along into 2025. Speaking of rolling, when I went bowling, I did really good.
Maybe if we do another holiday party, you can have the day off and come and show us your talents.
Let me tell you, I totally
WCPT.
guttered. I got zip for my first thing, and I'm like, no, come on, Duff, let's focus. And then I got a spare. And then after that spare, did the best reveal ever. I turned around, whipped off my sweater, and I was wearing a shirt that says, I'm too gay for this. To the applause of many of the lanes around me. I also had to wear my Missy Elliott shirt today.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Because I need some Missy energy.
You do.
Coming into this year.
It's beautiful.
I know, it is. It's wonderful.
I'm not the greatest bowler. I think I started with a gutter ball as well, but I did okay for me.
I did okay for me, too.
But Kathy did really well. Devin, of course. God, he and Antonio were going crazy. Those two guys.
He's scholarship.
I know. He's
scholarship.
Wouldn't you know it?
What?
Former scholarship.
Yeah, but still,
I know,
it's like
you're
riding
a
a bike.
bowling scholarship winner.
Yeah. You know how to do it.
That says a lot.
It says a lot.
We had some good bowlers. I mean, it wasn't like not that many people there, and there were some good bowlers.
Listen, my Southerners were just freaking out the whole time. Like, this is the most Midwestern thing I think I've ever
so
done.
Midwestern.
It was so much fun.
It is fun. I had fun. Hopefully we'll do the party again.
All right.
It was a first in my 12 years here. It was a first out of the office holiday party.
Yes, they're usually here in studio.
Yeah.
It's fun to get out and about. You know? And there we go.
So, speaking of fun, is there any out there?
I don't know. Well, here's
There's some
President Jimmy Carter passed away.
Yes.
Which
we've been expecting, but it's still sad that he's no longer
sad.
with us.
He made it to 100. The best ex-president ever.
Absolutely.
The best former president.
His legacy and he did some good things as president, but he got kind of a raw deal there. But what he did post-presidential
was just amazing. I mean, we're talking
was
about like a true servant's heart.
Yes.
Like he wanted to give back. That was his mission. That was his goal. And he stayed out of the whole like beltway politics and all that stuff. And he just was like, here we go. Let's do Habitat for Humanity.
He rolled up his sleeves and
got
he
to work.
put his money where his mouth is. And with everything, and he and his wife, I mean, they were up into their 80s, and they were pounding nails for Habitat for Humanity.
He was like doing he was in his
90s. 90s. What am I talking about? 90s.
I know. Yeah. He was a truly great man that he lived to serve, and he wanted to give back. And that to me is the biggest takeaway. I know a lot of people weren't alive to remember, like the gas lines. I was barely.
I was.
Yeah. Were you you were of driving age too?
I was.
Weren't you?
I'd started community college in January of 1974.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated early from high school.
Right.
And we'd have to get up in the darkness. My friend drove. She had a car. She went too, so she'd pick me up. We'd split the gas. Get up in the morning, like darkness, and wait in line for gas.
Yeah, I mean,
to go to college. Uh-huh.
I remember. I vaguely remember. I know I was very young, but I do remember just sitting in those long lines. People don't remember that, and they don't remember, the whole the hostage crisis that happened at the end of his presidency. But I think his actions post presidency speak volumes for him.
And he had nothing to do with the hostages being taken. He did have a lot to do with them being rescued, which, of course, they held that news until after he was inaugurated. Literally, after Reagan was inaugurated. Yeah. It was all in the works from the Carter administration. So, Reagan used that as a point that he campaigned against him over it, although he did everything he could. And, in fact, got them rescued, got them freed. That was all Carter's people and his administration. But, things aren't all fair in politics, as we've learned.
Are not.
Especially where Republicans are concerned.
Yes, one might say that.
Yeah.
But
in my opinion.
Again, if there's something that we can take away, I've been saying this for months now. Live your values. Live your values. And that is exactly what President Jimmy Carter did.
He
every day
absolutely did.
Every day of his life.
He absolutely did.
That made me.
He's a great example of a wonderful American. He should be lauded, and he should be. I think his funeral is going to be a beautiful tribute to him because he deserves.
Well, it's already
all
started.
Yeah, and he's in Georgia. Yeah,
they've started there, and
I saw they moved his body.
Yeah, he'll be laying in state until
Thursday.
I thought it was Tuesday.
And then the funeral Thursday of this coming week.
So we'll definitely be following that.
Yes, I will be watching that.
But tomorrow's January 6th. Right.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing a good job of blocking things out, the holidays and personal, things with our dog and everything else going on. But today I was, gearing up for the show and listening to the latest news and just.
Yeah, it really is. That's the only way you can do it. Just deep sighs.
Tomorrow, is the day, and Kamala Harris has to preside over. And she will do it as an example of what a fair and free election is and what democracy looks like in this country. But I swear to God, 4 years ago when he pulled that off, when he did that, when he was responsible for what happened there, in my opinion, I said,
it's not your opinion.
It's true.
It's true. It's not an opinion.
It's true. It's true.
We
it's
watched
fact.
it.
Although to listen to them, they have a different set of facts.
They have made up.
Yes, you're right.
Invented a new reality.
They've invented a new reality, which breaks my heart. But to think that we have put this man, twice impeached, led an insurrection, a felon, back in office, makes me sick to my stomach and sad for America.
Yep.
And I had those feelings today again because it's all coming up because tomorrow's the anniversary and the certification of the 2024 election.
But yesterday, we still have President Biden.
Yes.
He awarded the Medal of Freedom to
many medals of freedom
to many individuals. The one that's really getting under people's craws, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Which I don't understand why people would be upset about that because she was, a first lady, a senator, Secretary of State. She was the most qualified person ever to run for the president. And she's done incredible, again, talking about serving the country. She's done an incredible job.
Yeah, well, the hatred's been misplaced in this country. The fact that they can demonize her and lift up him, and we're talking about the next
that's because
president.
of Pizzagate.
Pizzagate. She was smuggling children or whatever the heck. It's sad. This country makes me kind of sad, and I'm trying to overcome it the best I can. And we can talk about later about what we think about 2025 and what our hopes are.
Yeah, I know. My hope is just to keep my lips above the water.
Scott, I'm looking for physical and mental well-being.
Yeah,
those for myself, for my family, and for my those that I hold dear, my friends, my neighbors. Health, mentally and physical. Good health, mentally and physical. That's all I want. That's all I'm trying to get through. Because mental stress over what could transpire can hurt your physical health. So we've got to remain, as one of the hosts of the party said as I was leaving, Mauricio, he said, we've got to think positive. And I agree. We have to, even though it's hard as hell sometimes, but positivity is better for you mentally and physically. So that's my mantra for 2025 is just to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
as healthily as we can.
Yeah, because the last go round with Ding Dong, I was obsessed. News.
Me too.
News.
Because one thing was more outrageous than the next.
Yeah. So now that we know what's going to be happening, and also feeding that fire, I think that's a fire that I don't want to be fed.
I agree. And he is a lame duck. Let's not forget that. Remember the day after he was inaugurated in 2017, he said I'm announcing my campaign for 2020. And this is really what his whole presidency was based on, getting reelected. It's just about power. Now he doesn't have that. So I don't know what his motivation's going to be.
No, because he sure is.
Because he's very transparent. He really
accountable.
Is he going to really try to? He comes through with all these lies on the campaign trail. is he really even going to care about getting them done? You know, this is what remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well,
but I have, I think he's deplorable, and I think that maybe it'll be minimized. Maybe things are so close in the Senate and Congress that he won't get much done, and we'll just have to put up with him for a few years.
Yeah, because he definitely got off to a rocky start. Mike Johnson, getting that speaker, like it didn't happen right. I mean, he got it eventually, but there are people who are like sitting out and not voting for him, and see, like, okay, so now this other ding dong, speaker ding dong, has to try to get all his stuff passed. Good luck.
Good luck.
I mean,
I'm just gonna pop popcorn and watch y'all do it because it's all you have all the branches. It's all you. You even have the Supreme Court in your pocket. So.
Yep. Yep. So
and just survive 2025. Survive as healthily, mentally, and physically.
That
as you
is
can.
what I am hoping to do. That is really just keeping.
Shut out the bad noise if you can, and try to focus on positivity.
Mm-hmm. Which is what happened yesterday with the Medal of Freedom. There were other people that were nominated, like Jose Andres.
Yes, he's done so much.
Again, another person who feels like a true servant's heart.
Yeah.
He is a world-renowned chef. He also started World Central Kitchen. He has brought aid around the world with this.
He's lost people. Some of his people have died doing this work, trying to feed people.
I just adore him, and I also love his food.
Oh, I've never had his food.
You haven't?
No.
You got to go to Alejo downtown.
Yeah, I know he's got a restaurant here.
Yeah.
What's it called? Alejo?
Alejo, I believe. There's a couple restaurants here, but it's really good. You've got to try his olive. It's this deconstructive olive thing.
Wow.
It's really great.
Got to check it out.
His food is lovely.
George Soros was a controversial pick.
Very controversial. And I was wondering, I'm like, that just seemed kind of like a big old middle finger.
And I love it. I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, President Biden.
Just kind of like, hey, we've got our billionaires too, since Elon Musk seems to be running everything.
They have no problem with those billionaires trying to dictate things.
But with all of the conspiracy theories wrapped around him, I was surprised that he was awarded the Medal of Freedom.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah. I was a little surprised to see his name up there too. That was my first reaction, but
hey, all right, there we go. Bono got an award.
Well deserved.
Yes.
Another one that does a lot of work for people.
Yeah, I remember back in the 90s he came out with the Red Project. It was really to move forward for AIDS, HIV AIDS. And speaking of that, Magic Johnson was one of the award recipients. But you see, Magic Johnson, to me, that was also kind of like a mixed bag as a gay man.
Okay.
Because he announced that he was HIV positive.
Right.
But it wasn't until he did that that people cared about HIV/AIDS.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
And it was always like, and it's not his fault.
No.
Nothing to that, but like, and I get, it was an odd moment to be like, okay, so now you're worried.
Yeah, because of superstar basketball.
Because of superstar ball player. A straight Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Superstar basketball player.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always a weird one, but I mean, especially somebody who has the resources at the time to get all the treatments, because a lot of people didn't.
No.
I don't. So that was, again, nothing against him. It was more about
just
society.
But that's society for you.
I know.
Jane Goodall, who I love.
I met her.
Did you?
Yes. Jane Goodall came to the school where I taught.
Oh, nice.
High school. And I was there to help greet her and set everything up for her. She had this whole big speech for our student body in the field house. I got to meet her. She's very tiny. Mm-hmm. Beautiful silver hair. Mm-hmm. But oh my gosh. So it was open to, of course, to the entire school. We had a middle school and an upper school. So they all came, parents and family were able to come. We were in the field house. And Dr. Jane Goodall, she was introduced about all the, great introduction. She got a lovely ovation. And then she started her speech. She just went, ooh, ooh, ooh. She started making monkey sounds. She started making these monkey sounds. And I'm like, oh no, Jane Goodall. please don't do this. And I look over to the bleachers, and you can just see the entire. No, they're not. They're trying not to laugh.
They're trying to be respectful.
They're trying to be
That was
respectful.
tough.
I'm like, way to go, kiddos. Because I know I was just like, that is how you greet people in the morning in the jungles. And I'm like,
I love her.
Okay.
She's so authentic. We share a birthday.
Oh,
She's one of my many birthday
right,
buddies
well,
that I
there we
have.
are.
Yeah. So I always had a special affinity.
Yes,
for her.
but she's great. I mean, she was lovely, and the work that she's done has been
I'm glad they're
incredible.
honoring her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other nominees were, Ralph Lauren, big old fashion designer,
Yes.
Bill Nye the Science Guy,
Yeah, I love him too.
because we still believe in science.
Most of us, not all of us.
We all believe in science.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox,
Denzel.
Del Washington, Anna Wintour, which also got under Mega's crawl because she didn't put Melania on the cover of Vogue.
Good for her.
She didn't do that, and Dr. Jill Biden was on twice.
Good.
So,
She's got taste.
there we are. So there's a little bit of a petty
She's
thing
got
going
good
on.
taste. That's why she's been successful all these years.
That is true. That is true. Hey, do you know who else has good taste?
Who?
Richard Chew. Monday on Chew's Views, he's going to be taking your calls and talking to Alex Nikin, government finance and accountability reporter at Illinois Answers Project. Chew's Views, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central, right here on WCPT 820. We should probably take a break. And when we come back, we're going to, we were talking about what's coming down the road in 2025. We don't have crystal balls, but we're going to play something for you that'll help, I think, as we move into the new year. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Mind over matters.
Welcome back. I'm improviser Matthew Van Colden. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff and Ella Miller trucking along right here in the first show of 2025. As we said earlier, tomorrow is January 6th. That's when the electoral votes are officially counted. Pretty certain there's not going to be an insurrection, but hey, let's not count it out because those people are dumb and do dumb things. So, and we also... Here's the thing that we've been talking about. We've been talking about this since the election, about how we do not know what's going to happen.
Right.
We got an idea, but we have no idea what is coming down the road.
Yeah.
In fact, right after the election, we spoke with the CEO of Equality Illinois, Michael Johnson, about what they are going to be focusing on as we head into a repeat of the ding-dong regime. And it gave me hope, just kind of like, all right, let's just stop and focus. We can get right now. So this is our conversation. It is the week after the 2024 election with CEO of Equality Illinois, Michael Johnson. I was taught some really important values by people like Fred Rogers. It's always good to remember his words, to look for the helpers in dark times. And there is no one is more of a helper than Brian C. Johnson, CEO of Equality Illinois. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Scott and Ellen, it's so good to be with you. How are you and your loved ones?
Girl,
we're holding on. We're holding on for dear life.
I've got irpy burpy tummy all the time. I feel like astronaut diapers might have to come into play. It is just awful. How are you holding up?
How about you, Brian? Yeah.
You and your husband and your daughter.
Yeah, I think I'm of two minds, quite honestly. One is super clear-eyed and emboldened about the risks that we face and the challenges ahead, and eager to tackle them. And I wouldn't be sharing with you all the truth if we weren't scared and having really tough conversations in my home about what do we need to do to protect our daughter and our family against an administration who is very eager to come for our rights.
Yep. So what does the road ahead look like for LGBTQ folks? It's funny. I'm glad that you said that you were clear-eyed, because I've had this strange, eerie sense of calm. Just to be like, okay, let's just focus, see what's going on. But what are you all looking at Equality Illinois? What do you think? What do you see as potentials that are coming down the road? I know it's like looking to a crystal ball, but I don't think we have to look too far, except for Project 25.
I was going to say they wrote it out in a blueprint.
Yep.
First of all, I just have to remind all of us that we have always been a resilient, brave community who is really good at taking care of each other during hard times.
Yeah, we are.
And so,
we really are.
That is our strength. Like, we know chosen family like nobody else.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
we're going to lean into that. And I think that is important to hold on to. You know, I think as we begin to see things clear, I think there are 4 types of things we are worried about, particularly in Illinois, where we have so many protections, right? So we're very grateful for that. So I think one is we're concerned around the inclusion of LGBTQ plus people in our public education system. We have great laws on the books here for that, but what happens if the federal government threatens to defund public schools that teach about LGBTQ plus history or LGBTQ plus public health? I think that's a real risk. I think, 2, we're worried about access to medical care, particularly gender-affirming care, right? Again, what if the federal government threatens to defund providers that provide meaningful life-saving services to queer people, especially trans people? You know, I think we're worried about the non-discrimination protections, not broadly, but in and around the federal government. So if you are a federal employee, if you are a federal contractor, you know, we're worried that your rights to be affirmed in the workplace may be threatened. And then I think, you know, there's 4th around concerns, and I think it's overlapped, is military service, right? I think the opportunities for queer people, LGBTQ plus people, to serve our country openly and bravely in the military, I think will be curtailed. So those are the first, you know, I think those are the 4 areas we're most immediately concerned about: public education, healthcare, federal employment, and military service.
Just a couple little things.
Is that it?
And Brian, with him having the Senate and likely having the House, what are our means to fight back on all this?
Well, I think there are 3 things we absolutely have to do. I mean, first is we have to make sure that Illinois' protections are as strong as they can be. We have pro-equality supermajorities in the Illinois House and Senate. We have very supportive statewide elected officials, and we need to make sure that we are emboldening them to shore up our rights there. I think number 2 is, we need to make sure that we are continuing to organize going forward. And I say this, like, please, everybody, if you need the break, take the break, rest up. This is important. But we need to be making sure for the midterms, for the next presidential, we are getting federal people elected to federal office who are willing to stand up for us. I think the third thing, and I think this is really, really important, is we cannot get into solely a defensive crouch. Right. There can be this temptation just to say, no more wins. We shouldn't be bold anymore. Let's just make sure that we're shoring up our rights and playing defense. And that is really important, Scott and Ellen. Yeah. Absolutely. But if all we're doing is playing defense, we allow the other side to have all the time, energy, and resources to set the terms of the debate.
Amen.
And so we need to claim that back. We need to be making sure that we are requiring every school district in Illinois to teach public health and safety education that is LGBTQ affirming. We need to make sure that we are protecting the lives of sex workers by making sure we are decriminalizing sex ed, right? We need to make sure that we are advancing LGBTQ plus rights, because Illinois should be even more protective of its queer population, and we need the people who want to come for us to be reacting to us and not just setting the terms of the debate that we have to respond to.
Yeah, well, now, Brian, I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, because, it is Equality Illinois, so it is all Illinois. Have you heard anything from, downstate to, what the reactions are to, because you work with agencies across the entire state. Clearly up here in Chicago, we're heavily blue, but then moving down, well, just go to Schaumburg, I mean, but downstate too. What have you been hearing with the other agencies that you partner with? Because Equality Illinois is for all Illinois.
That's right. And, I had the great privilege of spending most of the last week traveling around the state, knocking on doors, supporting our pro-equality candidates. And it's just a reminder, we have never had more LGBTQ plus elected officials in the state than we do now.
Amazing.
And they are everywhere, right? I mean, we have Claire Kilman, who is an openly trans member of the Carbondale, Illinois City Council. We have at least 2 members, maybe even 3 of the McLean County Board. Bloomington Normal are openly LGBTQ plus. We have, Alana Banks, who is an out Black trans woman on the Decatur school board, right? So we have LGBTQ plus people everywhere.
Fabulous.
Who are in public office, who are willing to stand up and say, not just stand up for the narrow focus of LGBTQ plus rights, but saying when we fight for a government that protects all people, that has a strong social safety net, that ensures everybody has an equal and affirming access to the resources that they need, Illinois is stronger.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I've heard more people this week saying they're so grateful to be living in Illinois right now.
Yes. Yeah, and I should say, too, like, that's not an accident. Mm-hmm. I want to be really clear.
Yeah.
I worry sometimes that people think we're just lucky to be in Illinois.
Nope.
Illinois is LGBTQ plus affirming and supportive because of the hard work of so many of your listeners, right? Who are people who are knocking on doors, making donations, calling their legislators. It is not an accident that we live in a state that has worked so hard to protect LGBTQ plus Illinoisans. It is the result of hard work, brave queer people in leadership, and supportive champions.
Yep, and 100% the importance of community. And speaking of, Equality Illinois is hosting a virtual panel on the 12th at 5 p.m. Central. Which I'm so grateful for, because I remember, like I said earlier in the show, I remember back in 2016, there was a similar moment that was just for people in Chicago, and we all gathered together, and like community leaders, activists, champions, advocates, all of that. And it was so helpful to be surrounded by community. What is planned for this virtual panel on the 12th?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, again, thank you for this. It's Tuesday the 12th from 5 to 6 via Zoom. We are going to be walking through what we understand to be the greatest challenges that we need to be facing, early stage hypotheses about what we need to be doing to respond to that, and ways to support LGBTQ plus led and serving organizations in this fight. You know, we are in constant conversation with state and national LGBTQ plus leaders. As a matter of fact, I will be at a week-long gathering after Thanksgiving with the heads of almost every LGBTQ plus led civil rights organization in the country, trying to come together to, identify the biggest risks and to map the plan forward. And so this is going to be a little bit of a kind of information session that's kind of going to lay out the current landscape and the roadmap going forward to the best that we know, right? This is a heavily dynamic, constantly evolving, ever-changing environment we're in.
Yep.
But we're going to do our best to make sure that queer people, trans folks, and all of our allies have a decent sense of what we think the landscape looks like.
Yep. And one of the best ways to live your values is to go and support causes that mirror those values. And we want to make sure that everybody knows that Equality Illinois has invited you to join a virtual panel discussion with experts, advocates, and community leaders on November 12th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central. For more information, go to equalityillinois.us. You can find out how to register for that, how to get the links, and also just to the incredible work that Equality Illinois does for LGBTQ folks and their allies across the state. Brian Johnson, thank you so much for taking time out today to join us. Sending nothing but love to your family and to everybody who is out there fighting the good fight the way you are. You really are the helpers that we are looking for.
Wishing you strength. Gird your loins. We got a battle ahead, but I am confident, Brian, you can lead us through it here in Illinois.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ellen. I'm so grateful for you all. And here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, but hopefully that'll give you some clarity. I needed clarity because I called him Michael Johnson. It's Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson of
I didn't catch that.
My brain is just not working.
Okay.
Of Equality Illinois. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, there is the second hour about Chicago right after this on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Welcome back to the second hour about Chicago, our first one in 2025.
Yes. The beginning of our 12th year on the radio.
That's just bananas. And bananas and Duke's mayonnaise. That's what that is.
That's bananas and Dukes.
Bananas and Duke's mayonnaise.
That's as crazy as that is.
Look,
but do you believe it, though? Seriously, it's been 12 years.
No.
Oh, my God.
Like I said, this has been my longest job ever.
Oh, sweetie.
No. Well, I mean, think about it. Like when you're an actor, you go for like, a couple months.
Yeah.
It's
the nature of your occupation.
Yeah. So this has been my longest job. Thank you out there. Over here. We thought we'd have a really fun second hour of Out Chicago.
We're all about
it. A little bit later on this hour, we're going to have in this studio, a rock goddess.
Yes.
Kathy Richardson.
Mm-hmm. Can't
She's
wait.
Gonna be here.
She's gonna be here.
She's gonna be here, and she's gonna be at the City Winery too later on the 17th.
She's bringing her guitar with her today. Too,
What?
so
And I bet you got a harp or two stashed away
I always
somewhere.
like to be prepared just in case. There's no telling.
There we are.
But,
Who knows?
You never know.
I just may have brought my harmonicas with me. Maybe.
Maybe.
You got 7 stashed in there. I bet you.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe 10.
Yeah. Okay, great. Good. So get ready for a fun-filled musical extravaganza. And also the thing that gets me through the winter times is it is award season.
Yes, starting tonight.
It is upon us. Golden Globes are tonight. The Critics' Choice Awards are next week. And we thought it would probably be a very good idea to check in with a queer film critic and Chicago's very own None on the Run, Jerry Nunn. Happy New Year, Jerry.
Happy New Year to you both, my chosen family. I love you both.
How are you doing right now?
I'm good. I've done my homework. I've been watching a zillion movies, and I'm ready for tonight.
Okay. Well, because I know like the big thing for you specifically is the Critics' Choice Awards. But since we are the Golden Globes, I'm very excited about this evening. New network, new host. I feel like I have not done well in terms of watching as many movies as I have, because I am not like you doing all the things. Before we get into the nominees, what is in your opinion, what have been some of the best films of the last year?
Great. Well, so I do a queer top 10. It makes me different than the other critics.
Yeah.
So I kind of focus on movies that have something queer in the film, an LGBT representation of something.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I make mine different and really focus, so it's a lot of work because it's a total separate thing.
Right.
But
you're an overachiever, Jerry.
Well, So yeah, I mean, I love Wicked. Conclave was just so close to being my number one and trying to be Wicked. Amelia Perez is a force. I
just watched that yesterday.
Okay.
Last night, Jerry, my Jerry, not you, Jerry, but my Jerry and I, we just sat there like kind of mouths agape from the jump. We're like, what is happening? What? Because we knew very little going into it, and it was truly a remarkable ride.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Netflix flew me to both coasts to cover this thing. I'm telling you, they put the money out there. I got to meet the whole cast, the director I had a roundtable with. So I spent a lot of time with the film and just screened it at the International Film Festival for New York. And it just, I can tell you, I can spill the tea on anything you want to know about the cast, who's nice,
All right. But wait, first I want to Carla Sofia Gascon, who plays Amelia Perez. If she wins tonight on the Golden Globe, she'll make history as the first openly transgender actor to win a Golden Globe. Her performance was just remarkable in this. Did you get a chance to speak with her?
I did. It's on my YouTube channel. I asked her, we do it in Spanish. She's from Spain, and she's a wonderful person, first of all. And that would be a big, huge moment, for the world if she wins. Just being nominated is a huge deal in that category.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, Jerry, did you say you did the interview in Spanish? Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah. That's her native language.
Right.
The director's French, so we had a translator when I interviewed the director because I don't speak French. I just speak, Spanish and Southern. And,
so you spoke. You're fluent in Spanish. You conducted the interview in Spanish.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I was a little nervous. She gave me all the answers in Spanish, and she's great. She's just a wonderful, talented.
Yeah.
The transformation in that film is just remarkable.
Good.
It is remarkable. The transformation.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So tell me about. All right. So you are you going? Do you have more of your top gay movies,
queer films,
queer films, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my old booty, I don't know if I could say my old.
You can say ass. You can say ass. It's
say
in the
ass.
Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great because she's Maisie Stella is someone that I nominated for Young Performer for Critics' Choice because we do a Young Performer Award. We do have separate categories than the Golden Globes. So she's just great. I mean, that film is just wonderful. Problemista was one of mine with Julio Torres and Tilda Swinton.
I love Julio Torres so much.
What was the name of that movie? What's that?
Problemista.
Problemista.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah,
It's very indie.
He's very indie. It's very indie, but he is has a singular vision. Have you seen his stand-up special about shapes?
No, he came to Chicago and it was sold out in minutes.
I know. Yeah, he's definitely one of those people that you need to keep your eye on this person because. Is it he or they? I think they might be they, but yeah, but just incredible, an incredible talent, really unique perspective on the way the world is. It's beautiful.
Yeah, because you guys were talking a lot about politics and things, and a lot of these films have political Conclave definitely talks about the voting system. Amelia Perez, of course, Problemista, immigration kind of story. So there's a lot. That's really all throughout a lot of these films. So I also like The People's Joker. That's a trans story told through Vera Drew. Los Freakies, a Cuban film about HIV community. Driver Like Dolls, I loved. I just thought it was so funny and has queer performers like Beanie Feldstein and Coleman Domingo. And Backspot, a lot of people don't know about, but it's a lesbian coach played by Evan Rachel Wood and a Mohawk actress. It's about cheerleading. It's like Black Swan.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Resball was another lesbian coach, and that's the Chusca Warriors from New Mexico playing basketball. So queer, lots of queer content throughout all those.
Seems like there's more and more every year, which is great news. How about on the mainstream side of things? What are some of your favorites that are actually nominated tonight for the Golden Globes?
Yeah. For the Golden Globes, I really loved, of course, Conclave. I love that one. Wicked. Those are also
two separate categories.
Robots. Yeah, Wild Robot's going to do well with animation. They have a different category that Critics' Choice doesn't have, the box office achievement. So Inside Out was a huge. That's $1.69 billion.
Really?
Crazy.
So you think that the Inside Out 2 is going to take that award?
Well, they beat Deadpool and Wolverine over $300 million.
Well,
so
there's that.
I mean, as far as numbers, they're number one. The great thing about Golden Globes and Chris, all these awards, this year is unpredictable. It is really, I mean, I can say whatever. It is going to be all over the place. People are going to be taking home trophies, like a variety. So it's not predictable. It's not an Oppenheimer year where we just know they're going to take everything.
Yeah.
It is unpredictable.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it is really exciting, and especially because, the way that the Golden Globes has worked, you have the motion picture drama, and then you have the motion picture musical or comedy. So they're divided into two different categories there, which, I'm happy just as somebody who's a funny person because people never give awards to comedians. They don't give things they're funny because people have this mindset that if it doesn't hurt, it's not art. And it's harder to make somebody laugh than it is to make somebody cry. So I always get excited about that. But it's also what's really unfortunate, because again, in the category for the motion picture, for the female actor in a musical or comedy, that is stacked.
Oh my God. It really is. I was just looking at the nominees. Wow.
So here's my thing with Wicked. I really liked Wicked. I think it was a little too long because you can go see the whole show in 2 hours and 40 minutes. And unfortunately, the way that it was cut up, to me, it was very much Ariana Grande's movie. It was all about, to me, it felt like it was more about Glinda's story as opposed to Elphaba. And I think Cynthia Erivo, I don't think she's going to win this year. I think she's probably going to win next year after the part 2 comes out. Am I doing right there, you think?
Yeah, that could be totally true. I think, Mikey Madison for Honora is going to be the one to beat. She's done a Mighty Aphrodite kind of performance here, right? It's like Pretty Woman and Russia. So you have to see this film. Sean Baker is a wonderful director who did Tangerine, his iPhone. This guy has really picked these stories, so it's about a sex worker and really, really interesting. So she's the one, I think.
So you think more than Demi Moore? Because Demi Moore got The Substance got such... it was very visible, very publicized. And Demi Moore, people are saying it was a career-defining performance.
Yes. Well, I've seen it 3 times.
You have? Oh my gosh, you are amazing.
Wow.
I could not. I don't know how you did that. There were moments during The Substance where I literally had to put my hand up over the screen.
I haven't seen it. That's not,
Ellen, you'd be really upset.
Yeah.
But I will never forget it. I will never forget that movie. It was incredible. But 3 times, Jerry Nunn?
You love them.
It's visually, it's shocking. It's supposed to stir emotions. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And Demi is so great in it. She really, when you see it, she just gives it her all. And I love that Critics' Choice has the best hair and makeup, and I can vote for The Substance over there because they don't have that for Golden Globe.
Oh, yeah.
So that's definitely hair and makeup for me. It was pretty wild.
What about you mentioned stacked, but best performance of a female actor in a motion picture drama? That is the really stacked categories we mentioned. Do you have a favorite? Because I have I haven't seen any of them, so I have no idea. But wow, what a lineup of nominees.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Some people are saying Angelina.
That is what I've been hearing as Maria Callas.
Oh, that's Maria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But also, there's a part of me too. The ones I have not seen. Have you? Clearly, you have. The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson.
Yes. She's so good in it. I love some Pamela Anderson. I interviewed her through fax back in the day, and she wrote her answers, signed them, and sent the fax back, which was so great.
That's amazing. Back in the Baywatch days.
Wow.
Yes. And I was on a conference call with Pamela and Jamie Lee Curtis and all of them for that film. And Jamie Lee definitely took over the conversation. I was like, this is supposed to be about Pamela here.
Oops.
But it's a great film. But that's a hard category. There's a lot of long time. I even watched the Kate Winslet. I think she was really great. Tilda Swinton, of course, is just always good.
Tilda Swinton
Kidman's good. Yeah, they're all just really. I just love that we celebrate women.
I do too.
It's so important, and they're all so talented. So yeah, I love that.
How about for the male category?
Male
in drama, motion picture drama. You got Adrian Brody, Coleman Domingo, Daniel Craig, Ralph Fiennes,
Rafe.
Rafe. I know that was a challenging one.
It's Ralph.
Yes, it's Rafe Fiennes.
I don't interview him. He's never asked me to interview him. Maybe I'll learn it when he calls me. Sebastian Stan, Timothy Chalamet. What are you thinking there? Rafe.
So a lot of people are saying Adrian. He is great in a 3.5-hour movie.
3.5 hours?
Yeah, it is an epic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It has a built-in intermission.
Oh, good.
People love Timothy Chalamet, but they're always going to be like, well, he's going to still get an award sometime later, right? It would be like, Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's like he'll get in the future, and then it takes forever for him to freaking get an award.
Right.
But Timothy is really good in that. Daniel Craig is really good playing gay. That's impressive. But Coleman Domingo is my favorite because he's like my brother. We're the same age. I love that guy. We got to hang out and talk about the movie. He's playing straight. This is a straight role. There's not really anything gay and things, but it's a wonderful. It's for theater people because it's them making theater in the prison system and it lifting them up and making them better people. And so Coleman he deserves all the trophies and he's going to keep winning. I'm so excited, and he loves fashion. Oh my gosh, that guy dresses.
Oh, yes, he does.
I'm like, you wore a cape last year, Coleman. So I love him. Conclave is great, and The Apprentice is wild. So you want to watch a wild movie about Trump being influenced by a gay guy? Watch The Apprentice.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there we go.
We're almost out of time. Quickly, though, real quick, the best television series, musical or comedy, that is also a stacked. Do you think The Bear's going to do it again, or do you think someone else is going to get in there like Hacks or Only Murders or somebody, or Abbott?
Abbott, I love the cast. I just love them all. I mean, they're just wonderful people, and they're supportive of each other. When I did that ceremony for the Critics' Choice, they all came out just to support Chris Perfetti. I mean, they just came out not for accolades or anything. Them were all there doing shots to support him, And
love it.
so that I love that cast. I just honestly love them the best.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Hacks though.
I would not be sad if Hacks. I love Hacks so much.
Yes, and Only Murders in the Building.
And I love Only Murders, and I love The Bear, and I love Abbott Hillman, The Gentleman, and Nobody Wants This. I'm not familiar with those two.
Oh yeah, that's the Kristen Bell TV show. With Kristen Bell.
Okay.
Nobody Wants This. Yeah, about her being Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just
a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot of amazing stuff that's out there.
Embarrassment of
Now,
riches.
just to play devil's advocate. So I loved Conclave. I thought it was riveting. It is a movie about the election of a new pope. So it's like you said, it kind of kicks you behind the it pulls back the veil so you can kind of see what's going on here in the process of all of that. Isabella Rossellini, I don't know why she was nominated. It's not like a Judi Dench 10 minutes of screen time or whatever, for Shakespeare in Love. I thought she was. She's fine. She's Isabella Rossellini. She's great. But in terms of she didn't have anything to do.
What do you think about that?
What did you think about that? Or am I ruffling feathers here?
I support nuns whenever I see them.
There you go. Of course. Of course you
do.
And she was powerful in that it is a small part in a cast of amazing people.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's something to see. I mean, it's done so well. You almost think it's a true story, but it's absolutely not. I'm all for any kind of accolades for Conclave. I went in hearing it was good, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so much. It's like the best. It really is. So,
it is an incredible. The film is wonderful, and I highly recommend checking it out because it is good and very taut. And as a nice little surprise, little twist sort of thing at the end. All right, cool. Well, I'll just give some love to Isabella.
Yes, give her some love. She deserves it.
Just for you.
Yeah.
So I know you're getting ready to go out to the Critics' Choice Awards next week.
Right.
So go and have fun with that. And then you're going to be hosting the Queer Critics Awards again in the summertime, right?
Right. So, I created this ceremony. We had done celebrations for Latin, Black, and Asian people. And then I was like, well, where's my LGBT one? So I started a committee. We made it happen finally this past June, 2024. And now we're doing it again. And I'm thrilled to be back out there. And I really just love LA now.
I love LA. Me too.
So watch on E if you get a chance. So 30th annual Critics' Choice Awards coming a week from today with Chelsea Handler hosting at the Barker Hangar in Santa Monica. So you might see me. I don't know.
Well, you usually wear something very subdued, so
yes,
we probably
you
can't
just
find
blend
you.
right in with the crowd, so we can never spot you. I'm sure Nikki.
Right.
I'm looking forward to Nikki Glaser tonight too. I think that's going to be. I have high hopes for her, so we shall see.
Well, Jerry Nunn, thank you so much for taking time out to weigh in on all the awards that are coming up. How can folks follow all of your reporting and your critiques and your reviews for Nunn on the Run?
Yeah, so nunnontherun.com, has a lot of them there, and Jerry Nunn on all the socials, and I've been with Windy City Times 20 years, which was a huge thing this past year. So I'm just out there doing it and running around.
You are definitely out there, Jerry, because I see you every time I'm out. So that's a good thing. Hey, thank you and Happy New Year. And thanks for being on with us. We always
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
Of course. Have a happy award season as we
Thank you.
begin tonight. Jerry Nunn.
Thanks,
Make sure you
Jerry.
check out Nunn on the Run for all of your entertainment needs. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be joined by rock goddess Kathy Richardson. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hi, this is Renee Taylor. You're listening to Out Chicago, WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ella Miller rolling along for show 2025. So we thought we'd rock the house with rock goddess Kathy Richardson.
Hey.
Hello, you're here.
I'm here.
I'm so
She's
excited.
here. She's
Usually like
queer.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
How you doing? I'm nuxing out.
I'm good.
Yeah?
Really good.
I love that.
Wow,
You've had quite a year, my friend.
Jeez, have I? I mean, it was amazing. I can't even think of everything that happened. We went out with, well, first of all, I've been on tour with Jefferson Starship as the lead singer for the last
How many now?
17 years.
I can't believe it.
In March,
17?
in March, it'll be 17 years.
Holy smokes.
You're going to catch up with Grace Slick's record.
I've surpassed
You've already
it.
surpassed it.
I've long
You've already
surpassed
got
it.
figured. Yeah,
Hey, that Grace.
No, Grace is a big fan, and she's so awesome. And I don't speak to her directly, but I speak to her through her daughter China,
Yes.
who's my good friend, and she's always like, "Mom said this," and "Mom said that." You know?
Yeah.
She's sitting in her command central.
Yeah, she's
every
like,
time I think about that, she had like different TVs set up.
Well, she just has a huge TV the size of this room, and she just sits there and smokes and paints with that giant TV.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love her. Whatever works. Whatever works.
Like, come on, Grace.
So you're 17 years.
17 years, and we've been pairing up with other classic rock bands on the road, which has been really fun and giving us a chance to for years. It was a struggle when I joined the band. It was like, fans were driving us around in their personal cars, and we were really, really slumming it out there. And we've managed to build it back up to a point where we're playing arenas, and we're back on the tour bus. And we were out with Marshall Tucker Band this year for a bunch of dates, and we went to Europe and played with Deep Purple. And that's the second time we've played with them in stadiums. And it's just, it's so amazing. And like, just all the hard work has, people like, oh, well, you're the lead singer of Jefferson Starship. It's like, yeah, but it's not 1976 anymore.
Yeah.
It's been an uphill battle, but it feels really gratifying now. Like we finally gotten it where it should be, and we're writing new music, and I'm going to be writing more songs with Grace for an upcoming record.
That's a news flash.
Yeah,
again. I know you've got one tune that you had on your most recent record that the two of you collaborated on.
Yeah, so apparently she's been listening to the record, and she really likes it, and she wants to write more, and she's been writing lyrics and stuff. So I haven't seen them yet, but I have to get on that because...
Get on that.
Yeah. But we've been having a break, this last month we've been off, and it's been kind of amazing.
I've seen the videos online of you guys playing arenas and and the reception that you get. I'm just like, I'm all tingly for you when I see it because you've worked so hard for so many years, and it's a struggle for all musicians, even the most talented like Kathy. But to see you get those accolades all over the world, it's got to feel like, wow, you've achieved your goals.
It's awesome. It's so fun. Yeah. And I've learned so much over the years too about it, even how to play an arena. Because last year we went out with Bret Michaels. He's the lead singer of Poison, but he has a solo band, and that guy is just one of the greatest frontmen of all time. And the energy he brings and the way he gets the crowd going, and he finds the person in the back row and connects with them. I mean, that's what it's all about. And being able to watch him all last summer just gave me extra juice to go out and know how to do that. And it's fun, and it really works.
It does work.
So I've got a question. As you're writing new music for Jefferson Starship, what do you... How do you approach that? Because it would be like, oh gosh, we got to do the 1976 sound, but no, this is us now. How do you approach that as you're writing new songs for such an iconic band?
Yeah, I feel like the way we did this last one is we just kind of wrote as ourselves. And the first thing we did was get together as a band and just start jamming. And there was a microphone overhead, and we just recorded it, and that was what the basis was for a lot of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was different people throwing out ideas, and then people joining in. And then, in the case of the Grace song, she sent me lyrics. I grabbed my guitar and wrote a chorus, and it was very me, but I also felt it was very like Paul Kantner-ish, and it was that sort of like anthemic, thing. And if you listen to the entire Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship to Starship, and you listen to all that music, I mean, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
So there's like really nothing wrong that you could do.
Yeah. Right. That's a good
it's
point.
like you could write a total pop song, you could write a folky country song like Count on Me, or you could write a heavy metalish sounding song like Ride the Tiger, or anything in between, And so it's a beautiful thing, because in those groups that that whole Jefferson thing, there were so many different people coming in and bringing whatever they had to what it was, and that was Paul's vision for the band to begin with. And he was always like, if somebody left the band, well, who's the next greatest person that we can get in here to fill that spot or to be that harmony? But never ever did they say, try to be like Grace, or try to sound like Grace or anything like that. It was always just like, be yourself. Yeah. And so it's a beautiful, it's a great thing for me, because I have a lot to give.
You can stay true to the original.
You certainly do.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, along with your work with Jefferson Starship, you also have your own band and your own music career that's doing. You've got a show coming up at City Winery on the 17th.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is kind of a last minute booking, so thank you guys for having me on to help get the word out.
Of course.
I'm for this show, and I've never done this at City Winery. I've been doing the show for the past couple of years called Goddesses of Rock. And it's just basically all my favorite artists that influenced me growing up: Heart, Janis Joplin, Pretenders, Fleetwood Mac, and then some other fun ones. And it's never been the same twice. So, I might overlap some songs, but there'll be some surprises in there and some things I haven't done. That's why I took the list of artists off of the bio, because I'm like, well, I don't want somebody to get mad if I don't do that.
Because now I know I'm not going crazy. Because I saw all the list, and I was going to give it to Scott for his notes. And I'm like, I could have sworn I saw the list of the artists she was covering on here.
I changed it, and then for their Facebook ad, I changed it back, because I'm like, nobody's understanding what this is. But it's like, Heart was my biggest influence growing up,
but why? I wonder why.
I wanted to be them.
Who does not? I want to be a Wilson sister so badly. Those gals.
Yeah,
they're great.
Rock.
Yeah, they do. And they're really sweet, nice people too.
Kathy's shared the stage with us.
Weirdness, but it's not that weird. I saw something on social media. This guy told his 11-year-old kid, "Hey, you can open for me at my show," and the kid was like, "No, really, no way." And then I was seeing this stuff about these kids that were dancers growing up, dancing to Beyonce, and how it was and how it's going and whatever, and they're actually dancing with Beyonce. It's like that stuff actually does happen. And it's not that weird, but when you're a kid, it feels just so unattainable. It feels like you're on the outside of whatever that is.
That's why you have to dream big.
Right, exactly.
Do you remember the first Heart song that you were like, what?
Yeah,
Crazy on You?
Well, I remember specifically that my next door neighbor, Deareen Pauly, who was a few years older than me and still is, we were both playing, trying to teach ourselves how to play guitar, and she was in all this cool music, and I don't know why she would hang out with me, but we were both bored, I guess, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" She'd like, Come on, listen to this John Lennon, Frank Zappa, a Cheech and Chong, and she goes, if you really want to hear some girls who can play guitar, you should listen to Heart. And she handed me the Dreamboat Annie album, and I opened it up, and I see like Ann Wilson in a wedding dress on stage, and like they're playing in a band with dudes, you know, and I'd never seen that before. I'd never seen that. It was like not even a possibility for me until I saw those pictures. And then I was like, wait, I think my sister has one of their records, and it was Little Queen. And that's the one where they're on the cover and they're like, you know, it's their major label, and they're like, just like styled, and she's holding a crystal ball, and they look like gypsies, and the men are like there, but they're out of focus in the background. You know? Nice. Like they were so gorgeous and they were so striking. And then I drop the needle down, and it was Barracuda. My head exploded. I said, "Are you kidding me?" And then her voice, and like, you know, like I was like,
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now.
It was like, and then the rest of the record. That to me is the ultimate heart record.
That's a great
and
one.
I worship these people, and I used to fantasize that they would come pick me up at junior high, come like dressed like they were on the poster, and with their, you know, kimonos and hair blowing, and like, we're here to get Kathy. Just take me away. I don't know what happened after that, but it was like they were my
go on the road with them.
Yeah, and I ended up opening for them, meeting them, and becoming friends with the guys in the band that aren't in the band anymore. Steve Fossen and Michael DeRozier have a band called Heart by Heart, and they're mostly Seattle-based, but they tour all over. And my high school friend Lizzie Damont plays guitar with them.
What?
And this is amazing because we were in high school, and I'm walking down the hall, and I see this girl playing electric bass, and I stopped. I go, "Who are you? What are you doing?"
This is in Hinsdale, by the way.
Central High School in 1985 or whatever. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm really into Yes," you know. And I'm like, "What about Heart?" And she's like, "I don't really know their music." And I'm like, "Well, you really need to." And I told her, and she remembers that. I mean, we both remember. It was like a pivotal moment. Now she's in the band playing with those guys, and she's a phenomenal guitar player.
That
way
is a
better than
great
me.
story.
Yeah.
Speaking of guitar player, that's phenomenal.
Well, I mean,
how would you like to treat us to a little
I'd love
something?
to, but my lyrics were on my computer, and I lost the internet connection, and now I get.
Oh well, why don't we could take a break?
Can we take a
why don't we take a break and figure out? We'll get ourselves technical, and everybody at home, you can go like, grab a cup of coffee, get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready for this whole thing, you know. It's great. We'll take a little break. But hey, did you know that also, if you are listening out there and you want to listen live, you can listen to 8:20 a.m. on TuneIn or on the Heartland Signal website, or watch the live video stream on Facebook or YouTube. You can also tell Alexa to play WCPT from TuneIn. So if you're traveling throughout your house, you want to make sure that you tell her to tune in, because Kathy Richardson's going to be playing real soon. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, there is more Out Chicago right here.
I'm Jay Nair with Tricone Chicago. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Stand up.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, rolling along. Hey, you also know who is rolling along? Monday from 2 to 5, Joan Esposito is going to be back from her 2-week vacation. And her guests include Jeffrey Korn, director of the Center for Military Law and Policy at Texas Tech University, Terry Ross, executive director for the Illinois Legal Aid Online, and author Spencer Critchley. Live, local, and progressive is weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on WCPT 820. And no one else is live right now.
What?
We've got the one and only rock goddess herself, Kathy Richardson.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There we are. Kathy, you're going to be at the City Winery on the 17th
of January.
That's coming up.
A couple Fridays.
Our friend Andrea Darlis, who's sometimes on the radio, she just wrote to me that she bought tickets.
Awesome.
All right, there we go.
So,
Come on.
Thank
There's plenty of tickets available, guys. Come on, let's go.
Well, why don't you give us a little tasty poo of what's to come?
All right. Now, this is one I haven't done before, but I love this artist, as we all do. And she was recently inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame.
Missy Elliott. It's Missy Elliott.
She's not primarily known as a rock artist.
It's Missy Elliott. It's what
Dolly Parton?
Jolene, oh, begging on me, please don't take my man. Jolene, oh, please don't take him just because you can. summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep him crying when he calls your name, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. 'Cause he's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, please don't take him just because you can. Oh, Jolene.
Beautiful
I
job.
love that song.
Thank you. I know.
Well,
Do we
great
love the
one.
Beyonce version?
We do.
Yes.
Like the Beyonce version?
Yes,
Yeah, come
yes,
on.
we do.
I love how she was like, you know what? I'm going to have to change the words a little bit here. But I'm warning you, don't take my man.
And Dolly was like, go for it.
Yeah, totally.
Do it. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, well,
She's no fool.
No, of course not. No. But that song, it's one of the few songs that it's like, it's a kind of a love song, but it's about another, from a woman to a woman.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it
it
is.
starts out comparing like how beautiful this woman is. It's very queer.
It is.
I love-
Yeah.
Have you listened to? Well, it is.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Have you listened? Oh
I
my
neither
gosh.
until now, but
you need
he's
to.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about like you are so beautiful. You can do anything. Please don't take because I'm not as beautiful as you. It's like
Right.
this very much like,
Yeah.
Jolene. You know, like, Jolene.
Can't
But-
compete with you, Jolene.
I know,
But I
right?
could get with you, Jolene. Now I need to write the lesbian version.
You should have you heard the podcast Dolly Parton's America?
No, I haven't.
They do an entire episode on Jolene, and it's great because they talk about how Dolly she transcends all like political party, musical taste, whatever. Like ever,
Right.
she is universally adored, and
Yeah.
this is why.
Yeah.
And they do one episode that's all about that. They explore the queerness that's behind it. She also, I believe, wrote Jolene and "I Will Always Love You" same night.
Yeah, that is insane. That's
What?
insane. The
What?
woman, she's clearly an ascended being, you know, who we are lucky to be walking the space and time with her because I think she's like an earth angel, a saint, whatever you want to call it. Like, she is definitely, and her, in the way she behaves in the world is an example.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's so giving of herself, and she's just really a perfect human.
Yeah,
in my
Jimmy
opinion.
Carter, like President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, like,
You
yes.
know, like there we are. So like when you're putting together a show like you're doing at City Winery on January 17th,
Yeah.
you know, you've got the Goddesses of Rock. Like how do you, because of course I would not immediately think of Dolly Parton, but how when you're putting together your set list, like how do you go through like, this is what I need.
yeah. Well, it's so funny because I was going through the set list today and I'm like, oh man, I'm thinking about texting Pam. Would it be too late to add this one? Or
Right.
oh man, I really wanted to do this one. I forgot. You know, and
got a
so
4-hour
there's
show
so
going,
many.
you know?
There's so many, and I'm trying to keep it within reason for my own voice
Right.
for one thing, and then also I want to, I'm going to come out and I'm going to do the Goddesses, and then I'm going to close out with my own mini set of my own stuff. So I'm trying to save a little for that too.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about my voice and the duration of the show and how many belters and how many more,
You got to balance it out.
and also keeping the show moving and flowing, throwing in some surprises that people haven't heard before. And with the heart stuff, I mean, I could do any number of them, but also, I'm like subbing 2 people in the band. I've got Ann Harris is out, so I've got Sophie Hafer playing keyboards. And
she plays with Nelson Street too.
Okay, yeah, she's done one before, but I kind of changed it to make maybe a little bit more keyboard oriented.
Great,
because she's going to be there.
Yeah. And who else? Who else is on there?
Clem on bass.
Oh, Clem's back. One of Kathy's former band members.
Everybody knows Clem. He's like the best. And my longtime bass player, Greg Pansiera, can't do it for some reason. I don't know why. But Jude Gold from Jefferson Starship, but I saw him first, is coming in on guitar.
From California, from LA. He's a wonderful player and a wonderful human.
He's been playing with me for probably 20 years
That's
now, I would say.
That time is gone. I can't remember when he first joined you.
I know, and it doesn't seem like 20 years ago. I mean, I guess it was 18 years ago. I mean, Rachel and I have been together 18 years. So, yeah. That's
right around then,
yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
A lot of things happened in my life 18 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
So is it about a 2-hour show, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathy does not skimp.
No, you got to give.
You get your money
for
seeing Kathy.
I'm right here, right now. I'm sitting there like my hair is like that Memorex commercial, with the guy sitting in the chair and it goes blowing by.
It never sounded so good. Sounded great.
So like, really, how do you protect your voice? It's because it's like that's one thing I've always wondered about, especially with like all these rock anthems that you're doing and like really rocking out. How do you just not sound like you're just got gravel coming out of you?
Sometimes I do. It just depends on the day, how tired I am. I mean, it's like hydration, rest are the 2 keys, and then so I used to do all kinds of stuff like that I don't even do anymore, and then my voice starts cracking. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, you don't do anything, So I got myself one of those nebulizers that it looks like a vape pen, but it's or like a vape pipe, but it's actually like steam, that you inhale. It's not hot or anything. It's just moisture. And I got one of those, and that really has been helping a lot. But I honestly take Advil before I sing. I drink a lot of water.
And you have gum in your mouth, don't you?
I do. Usually I do. I don't right now because I didn't have any, but it keeps my moisture.
I noticed a few singers that do that.
Yeah. I know, and I've seen people comment on it on videos and stuff. It's so distracting with that gum in her mouth. I'm like,
you're not the only one. I've seen other singers too.
It would be much more distracting if my voice was just in tatters.
Right.
Just let her do what she needs to do.
I need to keep moist.
Keep it moist. She's trying to keep it moist for you.
See, again.
Speaking of, can I have the water? It's okay. Thanks.
Sorry. I think I drank your water.
Oh, no, did you drink?
No, I didn't.
All right, good. There we go.
I think you did. It's okay.
I don't have anything right now.
That's what friends are.
Are you gonna play? Do you have your harmonicas?
Well, yeah, I do have some.
Because I was thinking of doing one of the things that we're gonna do at the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know what it is?
I don't know what it is, but this is Kathy Richardson.
The one I'm going to do with you?
Yeah, the one you're going to do.
Okay, what key is it in?
It's an A.
Goddesses of Rock is going to be coming, just sitting down here in Chicago on the 17th. We're getting a little sneaky peek. And there's Ellen Miller on the harp.
I was going to work on this today because she informed me I'm doing it on the 17th.
There we go.
Rehearsal live on the radio. What could go wrong? All right, this is one of my favorite goddesses of rock, and I know Ellen's too. Chrissy Hind, of course, of the Pretenders, and this is one of her greatest rock and roll songs of all time. It's corrugated tin shacks full of kids. A mama don't need a handstand nursery. And you own a big chunk of the bloody third world. The bandits just call me the scenery. Now come on, baby, get in the road. Come on now, in the middle of the road, yeah. Tell I'm going home, I'm tired as hell. I'm how I used to be. I got 2 kids, I'm 53, baby. I'm 55. Come on now, in the middle of the road, yeah.
We got our own goddesses of rock right in here.
I'll figure out where to come in.
Well, no, you filled in the guitar solo. With
Okay,
her. That's
all right.
great. You got to practice it twice.
Was amazing and incredible. That's going to be our show for today. I want to thank Jerry and Kathy Richardson. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me,
Make
Scott.
sure you go get tickets. citywinery.com/Chicago.
17th.
On the 17th.
I'll be there too.
Friday.
Woo-hoo.
Devin, thank you so much for everything.
Thanks,
Paul,
Devin.
you did okay back there. Happy New Year to you, Ellen Miller. That's got to be weird to play sitting down. It feels like, I don't know.
I can play standing on my head. It's
I know,
okay.
because you're amazing. There we are. And I'm Scott Duff, and until next week,
Stay proud.